globally. Now, for us to have this capital market master plan be successful, there has to be a deliberate attempt to ensure that when policy is made, the capital market master plan is taken into consideration. When decisions are made on a continuous basis around the influences of what happens in the economy, that first of all, that barometer called capital market is taken into consideration when policies or when those decisions are taken. Once you're able to do that, then certainly you're likely to see the success of implementation of that capital market. Otherwise, it will be another white paper that Munir will be hitting his head around Abuja and the whole of Lagos and the whole of it, finding that he's not getting anywhere. So my take is, first of all, there has to be that inclusion when decisions are being taken into consideration, the capital market master plan, from day one, and maybe from now onwards and continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Abiola.
Good afternoon. First of all, I think it's very dangerous to talk about ladies' weight. And I can assure you that by the end of this month, whatever fat I have would have been drastically reduced. The statistics we've been hearing, that we all know about, and we've been hearing over the last 2 days, are very, very sobering. I think Ike talked about 41 million households that keep their money, save their money at home. We talked about the statistics, capital market, capitalization to GDP, about 10% percentage of GDP as opposed to multiples of GDP. Johannesburg is over 200%, for example. Penetration of mortgages, GDP, less than 1%. Insurance penetration, less than 1%. So we can see there's a problem. And if we look at even the capital market, the stocks that are listed, not to talk about the ones that are not, again, is not representative of the GDP of Nigeria. What's agriculture market cap to agriculture GDP in the capital market? Something like 0.something%. So we're not dealing in reality. I think we've had a sort of a mirage capital market, and we have to go back to basics. I want to talk about what we can do about it. I think the key word I would use is diversification. We need diversification of funding. We need diversification of instruments and assets and products. And diversification does several things. First of all, variety is the spice of life. When you have variety, I'm going to speak about food again, we're in Ramadan. So you can't eat the same thing every single day. You're just offering jollof rice available. Some people do not eat jollof rice. Some people do not eat meat. They're vegetarians. Some people do not eat pork. So bring in banga soup, bring in afang, bring in miakuka, and you invite more people to the table to participate. And the more people that are available to participate, you address the liquidity issue. I believe there's a big domestic pool of liquidity that's available in Nigeria we have not tapped into. Invite them to participate. The liquidity comes in. And more importantly, Tony Lumina's comment about stakeholder engagement and being a stakeholder and having a stake in the economic development, again, comes to play. So what can we do? The issues around getting companies to list and what the BP can negotiate as companies come to bid for companies, that's something we can do. The SEC is doing a tremendous job, I believe, in developing the master plan and implementing it. But we can do a lot more. And I'll give a very simple example, if you can give me that minute. Andrew just said, events sometimes overtake policy, and we don't go back and re-examine what they're about. We take the KYC or Know Your Customer requirements for capital market now, not even for the banks. And it's so cumbersome that you're not able to have a retail customers in the capital market. Now we want to know customers, we want to control money laundering and the flow of cash. But we now have the BVN, for example. CBN has instituted the 3-tier KYC for small, medium, and large depositors. Can SEC not adopt that? That would free up the fund management industry, for example, immediately. Those are things that we can do immediately. And inclusively as well, we have the non-interest capital market, which I have been a champion of under the capital market master plan. That's critical. If 50% of the country are not coming to the table, then we're never going to have an inclusive growth. And I think inclusive participation and growth is the secret to our success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know how much time we have, but I would just stop at except if you have a burning desire to make a point. Otherwise,
I have a burning desire to make a point.
Oh, so there are many burning desires. So
very quickly,
I will ask you to use ice cold drink to quench down those. But because we don't have time, I'm having signals from the organizers that should move on. On that note, I think I will just invite two or three questions. Then I will make my last comment, and we'll move on. Please. Write down your burning desire for questions. If you write the questions, I will pass it to them.
1 minute. Yeah? 1 minute, please.
I'm going to insist. My regulator, I'm facing my regulator here. I don't want to.
Please, just 2 minutes.
I don't want my license to be withdrawn.
It's very important.
Yes, let me hear the DG, then the gentleman there behind him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I actually wish this panel sat yesterday after the presentation of the master plan. Let me quickly clarify a few things. Mr. Rawani spoke on the confidence. The master plan anticipates there's a need to have that confidence, and that's why one of the key things that we're driving in the master plan is to address the concerns of the retail investors through e-dividend, dematerialization, and direct cash settlement. Also, he spoke about liquidity. The master plan also suggests the need for us to have a unified license where operators can have, just like what Victor said, can be able to access the liquidity window of CBN so that we'll have the necessary liquidity. Ownership was also discussed. The master plan, like I presented yesterday, specifically emphasized on the need for us to have ownership at the executive level, at judiciary level, and also at the parliamentary level. Next week, the Capital Market Implementation Council is going to meet, and we have an appointment to see the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Trade and Investment, and also the Minister of Budget and Planning. Following week, we have an appointment to see the Vice President and also the Attorney General of the Federation, basically to make sure that that master plan is being mainstream and also being taking ownership. Capital Market Committee, distinguished senator, we have a Capital Market Committee that will meet every 3 months. We also have a Capital Market Literacy Week. The master plan also suggested the need for us to have a financial literacy. And we've already agreed that the Financial Literacy Week is going to take place anytime in November this year. The Capital Market Council has both the Senate Chairman on Capital Market and the House Chairman on Capital Market. Good legislation. After my presentation yesterday, we highlighted about 9 legislation that we think they needed to be amended. And we even went forward by already, SEC has set up 3 committees to work on those legislations. 3 months has already been given to them to work on the report and submit. Policy makers, I think we are not leveraging on the financial regulatory, regulatory coordinating committee, which comprises all the regulators. I think if we have that doing quite well, we'll be able to do very well. I just spoke on diversification of products, which was what we also discussed yesterday, that in this country we're always thinking about liquidity. But like Penco would say, and every other investor will say, where are the products? We need to challenge ourselves as issuers and as operators to also bring products into the market. Thank you very much.
Mr. Moderator, sir. I'm sure you think, as usual, I want to cut your time. Yes. But I'm feeling very benevolent. Okay. I'm giving you 10 more minutes.
Excellent. Thank you. So I will give 1 minute to you guys. Yes.
Yes. Sholai from Oluwanuga. I think it's important for us to realize that the Capital Market Master Plan would work well if we have a good adjudicatory policy. There must be a judicial policy in this nation concerning capital market. Yes, 90 days in the tribunal, but what happens thereafter? Those cases will spend years at the Court of Appeal, years before it gets to the Supreme Court. Now we are thinking of amending the laws when we don't even know what is the attitude of the Supreme Court about the jurisdiction of IST. So what I'm suggesting is that the Capital Market Committee should enter into, it's an interaction, it's a discussion I would like to have with the CJN. If you can have a practice direction for terrorism, and we can have a practice direction for corruption cases, that they must be fast-tracked. For God's sake, we're talking of ease of doing business. We should have a practice direction for capital market matters.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any lady that wants to ask question? Our capital market is very gender sensitive, you know. Yes, sir.